Greetings and welcome to yet another installment of Retro Overdose. So, you've discovered what it is that emulation might be, and you're extremely curious as to, well, what is it? Well, let's go ahead and find out. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you've already gotten your installation package and you've already gotten it set up on your computer, and then you've already also got your ROM programs, because I'm not going to tell you how to be able to get those either. But so let's go over here to my button. I've already got my shortcut set up and everything. Sorry about that. Anyway, that was a good edit break. So let's go ahead and click on the button. This should be pretty much what happens. So let's go ahead and say yes. Let's make sure that the video is still going. It appears to be so. Alright, so first things first. I should mention this before getting too much farther. Before hitting your shortcut, make sure that any of your joysticks or apparatus that you want to use for gaming is already plugged in, so that it can initialize and do what it's supposed to do. So what we do is we go over here into config. What we're going to do is tell it where our save files are going to be at. So let's go ahead and go into paths. Other emulators will actually call it their directories. So what we do is we go over here for our saves. We're going to come and let's see here. For our saves, let's get back into our SNES folder. I've already got folders set up for all of my games. So if I actually go out of that, this is all of my setup. I've got Nintendo 64, Nestopia, stuff like that. But let's go back into SNES. We are looking up our saves, so let's go to the saves file. Bam! Once we get there, you should have a folder set up for it. If it's not available within your SNES folder that comes up because of installing into a clean brand new folder, then go ahead and do your right click, new folder, name your folder. And then from there, just go up here, right click your taskbar that's right here, tell it to copy address as text. Bam! Then you come back over into your saves over in your emulator. Blap! Tell it control, hold that, press V. Dum-ba-da-ba. Alright, and then we move over back to, pardon me. Hello, that is a bonus question. Pardon me, I'm actually probably going to edit that out. I might leave it in just for humor. Who knows? Alright, for our saves, we want to go to... Actually, that was the saves for the SPCs. Let's not worry about those for the moment. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do those anyways. For those, let's go into... Actually, I want to say that it's going to go there anyways. Just in case it doesn't, we're going to right-click this bar. Let's go ahead and click back down here. It switches it back. Copy address as text again. Click back over here. Click there. Tell it that blap. It should be alright. If I'm wrong, then we'll find out, and then we'll just delete the SPCs. The saves I do know is accurate. From there, we tell it like that. Go ahead and close out your emulator by hitting the X. Go right back into your shortcut. Tell it yes. Of course. And then you go load. Bam! All your games pre-populate. So yes, we did do that correct. And then, just to be able to guarantee that our save states came up correct, let's go into Chrono Trigger and tell it to load. Bam! The Magic Kingdom. There's my save file. Alright, from there, To be able to make sure that we're actually doing stuff correctly, we started up our emulator. We've already set up our directory with paths. We've closed out our emulator and restarted. Now we can go into input. What this is going to allow us to do is set up the controller that we want to be able to play these games with. Make sure that it says keyboard gamepad, and then you're going to tell it to set keys, not just set, that's going to be individual, but set keys. And then you run through it. These are the buttons on your controller that you're going to use for your up button, your down button, exactly what it says on the screen right there. Left, right, your start key, select key. This is going to be what it means by the right button is on your action buttons, it's going to, for your A, B, X, and Y, it's asking for what button do you want to use for A. So that's your A, B, X, Y. Then your L and R button are your shoulders. After that, to be able to do player 2, you click on the tab right there, and you make sure that the gamepad is set up to be a different gamepad. It with Windows these days, it should automatically set up that it's a separate one, and then you set the keys so that these coordinate to the new gamepad that's going to be player 2. And then if you have any multi-tap games, you can do those. After that, you tell it like that. From there, you are free to go into your load games, be able to pick which ones that you want to play. And after that, it's going to play as it's would normally do for, well, I keep picking the wrong file as far as those. So my Super Mario, I need that one. It's going to run just the same as it would on an actual Super Nintendo system if everything's correct. But is it legal? That's a big question. Is it legal? Yes and no. The emulators are perfectly fine to create software for that can run on the emulator. There's no problems with that. The issue lies with how it's trademarked or copyrighted software. Like my Super Mario Brothers, it lies in a gray area. I have a physical copy. This is my backup that I use on here to be able to make videos with. It's easier that way. Don't be a pirate on it. Don't be the distributor. Don't make multiple copies and attempt to make money. Don't make multiple copies, period. All of the games that I have a physical copy of. But is it legal? Not necessarily. It's one of those areas that, especially depending upon your region, you can get into some decent amount of trouble about too. The thing is, don't make a big stink about it, and nobody's really going to give as much of a hard time as I'm aware. Don't take that as me condoning emulation or anything, though. But what to avoid as far as your bad dumps and everything, more or less go to sites that, if you feel like you would buy it off of Amazon, just make sure that your firewall's good. Double check all of your, if you're using a new site, try to scan the link first. To avoid hacks or this isn't the game that I wanted situations, make sure that you're double checking whatever the database is that has the links. And sometimes you're not going to be able to find the copy of the game that you want because the trademark holder or copyright holder has gotten it back under lock and key. But as far as any of your classic Nintendo style games and stuff, you're gonna have an extremely hard time finding them anymore. Whoops, don't want to do that. But I'm just gonna get a game popped open for while I talk. Let's see, there we go. It's not necessarily legal or illegal as far as the hacks either, but if you're wanting to have the classic style game, then you just gotta double check if it has a J in the parentheses, an E, an FR. All of these are your different types of regions. Some of them will say NTSC or NTSJ or something like that. NTCG. I can't remember the exact letters, but I've gotten to where I can recognize them kind of by looking at them just at a glance. And then another thing that can mess it up too is that you can have a perfectly fine copy of a game and it turns out to be a not translated, not region specific style game. And that's why I pulled this up so I could show in preferences. Like this is I don't know what the UNF, but the FDS is your Famicom Disk System. This is your probably Japanese version style games. I play the .NES, but it's the region style. And then NES, PAL, Famicom, or Dendy, those are the different versions of the same regions that are right there and everything. But that is pretty much everything I can say about emulation. I hope that it was an understandable video and that it helped you guys be able to get on your way. Have a good one and stay retro.